It's Monday, July 18th, and this is now on HNN.
Just like you'd see in a tsunami video.
A high surf warning remains in effect for all South Shores after massive waves slammed the islands over the weekend. A new report and video of the Uvalde school shooting reveals the failures in law enforcement's response.
Health officials sound the alarm over rising monkeypox cases. I'm Natalie Brand with details of the current outbreak and vaccine supply.
These stories, plus a powerhouse duo from the 2000s, is reuniting at the Aloha Tower Marketplace for a one-night-only concert. Details coming up on This Is Now.
Aloha, everyone, and thank you for watching This Is Now. Ashley and Casey here in the H&N Digital Center. Jonathan's gone for a couple more days, but man, we had some weather this weekend. Ashley, you were even working. I mean, some wild surf.
That's right, and it's not over yet. There is a high surf warning for all South Shores still in effect. Let's send it over to Guy Hoggy with your latest forecast.
It's going to be big, it's going to be dangerous, and to a large extent, we're talking about life-threatening conditions. Property damage is what we had the last couple of days, and that could happen again today because the waves are still elevated. National Weather Service is saying 14 to 18 feet today for South Shores. Still going to be big and choppy over in the east side as well, and that's leftovers from the swell coming from old Hurricane Darby. And the swell not quite as big on the west side, but they're picking up some stuff too. Remember, west side had waves running up on the roads too, and there are those winds already stepping up to double digits. It's going to be a breezy day today, but we're not going to see a lot of rain. It is a little damp, though, here on Oahu. Look at the scattered showers moving in from Kahuku all the way into the Manoa Valley area, especially wet along those windward shorelines. And it's going to be, though, a day with lots of afternoon sunshine for leeward sides. The brush fire threat is high because of the low humidity levels and those breezy winds. High temperature running to about 88 degrees. So it's going to be breezy today. It's going to be a very lovely day, a little windy, not much rain aside from the few morning showers. And the weather pattern is not going to change very much until Wednesday. That's when the winds will slow down just a skosh, and then we're likely to see a disturbance come in with a few more windward showers. Not a lot of rain, but a few more showers maybe Wednesday and Thursday. And so as we head into next weekend, things are looking very, very nice.
Across the state, many communities along the South Shore are cleaning up today following this weekend's gigantic swell. On the Big Island in Keauhou, a massive wave sent a wall of water over two-story townhomes. Witnesses were in disbelief.
The whole parking lot was just like a river at one point. The waves were so big. Everyone in the pool was kind of cheering and applauding. They thought it was really cool. And it was at first, and then it got a little scary towards the end.
There was debris everywhere on the ground, anything from rocks to someone's Uno cards from their house, and shards of glass were everywhere.
Several homes suffered severe flooding, but no major injuries were reported.
Oh, this is coming over for sure.
This is what happened at a wedding in Kona. We spoke to the bride and groom who told us they were expecting large waves, but nothing like this.
High tide was at like 6 o'clock, so we knew that it was probably going to go up a little bit, but we didn't think that it was ever going to get over the wall.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't stop the party. We definitely kept going, and it was, if anything, it just kind of made everybody closer, really quick.
The couple told us the waves took out some catering tables, but they did not lose their wedding cake. Maui shorelines also took a beating.
Just like you'd see in a tsunami video. It just kind of just filled up the room with water and just kept pushing forward straight through to the front door that leads to Front Street.
The Honu Oceanside restaurant in Lahaina says it may take a week to clean up their dining room. On Oahu, an extremely busy weekend for ocean safety. Officials say they made more than 1,600 rescues island-wide yesterday and took nearly 9,000 preventative actions, mostly along the South Shore. Ocean Safety also boosted its resources, deploying up to 6 rescue skis compared to just 2 in normal conditions. And on Kauai, officials are urging people to stay away from the shorelines along Poipu, other areas on the South Shore, and west-facing beaches. They say significant wave run-ups on roadways and into properties near shore have been reported. Parts of Ho'one Road in Poipu remain closed until further notice because of road damage and runoff from the ocean. Stay with Hawaii News Now on air and online for your latest forecast updates.
Happening right now, the Board of Water Supply is currently working to repair a large 30-inch water main break along Kanaha Bay Beach Park. That has actually shut down Kamehameha Highway. Billy V has the details.
Windward side of Oahu, we're here at the Kahana Bay Bridge, and this is where the activity is happening. Well, actually, let me take that back. There's where no activity is happening. There is no traffic going either direction. Kamehameha Highway is closed off here just before the bridge and just after the bridge. No cars are being let through. If you are a pedestrian, Board of Water Supply is letting you come through the work area, but you must be escorted. So if you're a pedestrian in the nearby area and you're having to be, on the North Shore side and you want to walk to this side, you can do that, just to let you know. Here's the problem. This is a 30-inch water main break. This supplies the water all the way from Kahuku side down towards the rest of Windward Oahu. Now, when this ruptured, it damaged part of the bridge. Notice right down here, that's the roadway that's already given way. And it's unknown how stable the rest of the roadway is. So they have closed down this bridge as they take a look at it. They know they're going to have to repair the road. That will take some time, but there are some factors to take into consideration: the amount of rain and sea level from the river, the ocean itself. So those are a couple of factors that may hamper them. If you're here on the windward side, just know if you're over on the Kahuku side, the buses will come all the way down to Kaneke Store, turn around, and go back the long way around towards town. If you're coming from Kaneohe Kailua, the last stop will be Swansea Beach. It'll turn around by the fire station and then head back down the coast, back towards town. So those are the workarounds right now, but at this time, Kamehameha Highway is closed. From the windward side of Oahu, I'm Billy V. Let's send it back to you.
We want to warn you, parts of this story may be upsetting to viewers. A scathing 77-page report on the Uvalde school shooting has just been released. Lilia Luciano reports.
Oh, shots fired! Get inside! Go, go, go! Take cover, guys. Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?
New body cam footage released by the Uvalde mayor shows the first moments officers arrived at Robb Elementary School.
That's my wife's classroom. He's shooting in the classroom. He got me, right?
About 4 minutes after the shooter entered rooms 111 and 112, one officer is grazed. School police officer Ruben Ruiz was heard in the background, recognizing his wife's classroom.
Dude, we gotta get in there. We gotta get in there. He just keeps shooting.
But seconds later, confusion and misinformation. In a different body cam video from another officer who heads outside to take cover and alert dispatch, he seems to believe the suspect is inside an office.
He's contained. We got multiple officers inside the building at this time. He believes he's barricaded in one of the offices. Messed up, is still shooting.
Shortly after, the urgency fades and officers are seen waiting and waiting.
What are we doing
looking
here?
For guidance.
What are we doing here?
Some begin to break windows and pull students out of the building.
Yeah, go, 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 go.
By now, we see the first images of the school district's chief of police, Pete Arredondo.
Sir, if you can hear me, please put your firearm down, sir. We don't want anybody else hurt.
Arredondo and other officers try to negotiate with the suspect.
Let me know if there's any kids in there or anything. This could be peaceful.
We hear police dispatch alert officers that a child is calling 911 from inside a classroom.
You have a child on the line.
Hey, what was that?
He is in a room full of victims.
Close to 5 minutes later, Arredondo is seen heading towards a classroom, not where the shooter was, to test keys and appears unable to open it. More minutes tick by, with little action appearing to be taken by the officers inside the school, besides trying to talk to the suspect.
Please put your gun down, sir. Please don't hurt anyone else.
And more keys to open the door that we've come to learn was likely already unlocked.
We're testing keys.
There were multiple systemic failures.
On Sunday, a Texas committee found that the chaotic scene was caused by a lack of leadership. The committee released a 77-page report which found that those first responders who went right towards a shooter's classroom within minutes acted appropriately at first. But all officers failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent victims over their own safety. It also found that the shooter had a problematic history and even earned the nickname school shooter on social media platforms because of violent threats he would make against other users.
If you know there's active shooting, active killing going on, or somebody is dying, the standard is you have to continue to do something to stop that killing.
The report concludes that there were no villains, that nobody besides the shooter acted with ill motive. But it also says that though it's likely most people died within the first few minutes of the shooting, it's plausible other lives could have been saved if police acted sooner. They're waiting for medical evidence to conclude how many. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
Police say a man helped prevent an even larger tragedy when he shot and killed a gunman who opened fire inside the food court of the Greenwood Park Mall in Indiana late Sunday afternoon. Officials say the suspect, 20-year-old Jonathan Sapirman, walked to the mall from his home armed with 2 rifles he had legally purchased in March from a local store. Within 2 minutes of him firing, the Good Samaritan, identified as Elijah Dickin, had shot and killed him.
He engaged the gunman from quite a distance with a handgun, was very proficient in that, very tactically sound, and as he moved to close in on the suspect, he was also motioning for people to exit behind him. Many more people would have died last night if not for a responsible armed citizen that took action very quickly.
Police say they don't have a motive for the shooting. The gunman had no police record as an adult, but was convicted of minor crimes as a juvenile.
The penalty phase is underway in Florida in the deadliest mass shooting case to reach a U.S. jury. The panel of 7 men and 5 women will decide whether Nicholas Cruz, the gunman in the 2018 Parkland school massacre, lives or dies, in a process that is expected to last months. Legal experts say that premeditation will be tough for the defense to overcome. Cruz, now 23 years old, pleaded guilty to killing 17 people in the 2018 massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, but his defense team is contesting his sentence. Here at home, Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro is back in the state, but it isn't to address the Red Hill crisis. Del Toro arrived in town this weekend to observe RIMPAC, currently in full swing off Hawaii's shores. He told the Star-Advertiser there are no plans to meet with state officials about Red Hill during his stay, but he and his staff remain at work to address the issue. Meanwhile, state health officials are demanding answers from the Navy about a plan they say lacks key details on how exactly that massive defueling project would be done. The Navy announced its intention to make repairs to the facility and remove 104 million gallons of fuel from the tanks by 2024. But Department of Health Deputy Director Kathleen Ho says the plan is too vague. She says it lacks key details which are needed to determine how long defueling would take or if it could get done quicker.
The defueling plan itself was lacking in so many details that, the Navy itself in the plan indicated that they recognize that the Department of Health will not approve the defueling plan because it lacked that detail. I want to impress upon the Navy and everyone that the Navy really should feel the same sense of urgency that we feel. Every moment that the fuel remains in the pipelines and in the tanks could lead to a disaster.
Ho says a major piece that is missing in the plan is just how much fuel is in the pipelines from Red Hill to Pearl Harbor and how crews will go about removing it.
Hawaii has 8 confirmed cases of monkeypox. The latest cases reported on Friday were 2 patients, one who lives on the Big Island and the other Oahu. The state is investigating any possible connections and has more than 300 vaccine doses for close contacts and those at high risk. Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's time to start taking monkeypox seriously, while others warn the spread of the virus is likely higher than we know. Natalie Brand has more details.
States across the country are struggling to get the monkeypox vaccine as cases are on the rise. The CDC reports more than 1,800 so far, reaching nearly every state.
We've gotten just over 8,000 doses. We estimate that we need about 100,000 doses to address the current target population.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb warned on CBS's Face the Nation that it may be too late to get control of the outbreak.
We made a lot of the same mistakes that we made with COVID with this, having a very narrow case definition, not having enough testing early enough, not deploying vaccine in an aggressive fashion to ring vaccinate. But now this is firmly embedded in the community.
While there's been criticism of the federal response, local officials say they're using lessons learned from the coronavirus pandemic.
We already have a very robust testing regime, and we've modeled it on what we were able to do with COVID, and we're going to continue to test. And I think because of that robust testing, we're going to see more cases.
Monkeypox spreads mainly through skin-on-skin contact. Symptoms include fever, body aches, chills, and fatigue. Many who have been infected develop painful lesions on their body. There are no reported deaths in the U.S., but federal health officials say they believe the number of confirmed cases have likely been undercounted, with the actual scope and spread unknown at this point. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
An extreme heat wave is currently sweeping Europe, and in Britain, they could see their very hottest day on record, with temperatures set to hit almost 103 degrees. That's about 30 degrees above their normal temperature for this time of year. Researchers say it's all part of climate change brought on by human activity. Roxana Saberi has more.
Wildfires raging across southwest France have scorched around 35,000 acres and forced more than 16,000 people to flee. In Spain, the scene seemed similarly apocalyptic. Neighboring Portugal remains on high alert after fires were fanned by drought that's hit at least 96% of the country and a heat wave reaching a record of nearly 117 degrees. Here and in Spain, authorities say more than 1,000 people have died from the recent heat. And now Britain is bracing for its record high of at least 103 degrees on Tuesday. So hot, the UK's National Weather Service has issued its first ever red warning for extreme heat, meaning there's a risk to life. Scientists say heat waves have become more frequent and more intense and last longer.
Climate change has everything to do with the extreme weather that we're seeing at the moment, and it's human-induced climate change. It's not a natural variation.
Kirsty McCabe is a meteorologist at the UK's Royal Meteorological Society. Is weather like this going to become the norm?
Unfortunately, yes, that's exactly where we are heading at the moment. If we don't do something now and take drastic action, we'll continue to see these things happening.
Here in London, people are trying to cool off in any way they can. This country is more used to the rain and clouds than to this kind of heat. In fact, most homes don't have air conditioning, neither do most schools. Some have canceled classes, and people are being told to avoid the trains because the heat could buckle the tracks. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, London.
All right, let's see what the internet is talking about, you guys. A powerhouse musical duo from the 2000s is reuniting for a one-night-only concert here in Hawaii. So Grammy-nominated artists Ja Rule and Ashanti will be taking the stage at Aloha Tower Marketplace on Saturday, October 22nd. Now, they collabed on hits like Always on Time and Mesmerize. They both had very notable solo careers as well. Tickets go on sale this Saturday, July 23rd at 9 a.m. at tmrevents.net. Ticket prices range from $55 to $125. Now, I know you and I are fans, Case.
Always there when you call.
That's right. But there are people in our newsroom who have never heard of them.
Yeah, the young one, the young kids.
Oh my gosh, blows my mind.
It creeps up on you. What else you got, Ash?
So Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are finally married. The Hollywood couple nicknamed Bennifer got married on Saturday in a late-night Las Vegas drive-through chapel. Now, Lopez says it was the best night of their lives, and their on and off relationship has made countless tabloid headlines over the past 2 decades. They first met on set of their rom-com Geely. Remember that? That was in 2000.
Unfortunately.
They were engaged in 2002, so a year later. They announced their split in 2004, but rekindled their romance in 2021.
Oh, dear. Well, I wish
Good
them
for
the best of
them.
luck, of course, but we'll see how it goes this
Yes,
time around.
yes.
Oh, don't you miss Friday already, Ash? Man, the weekend went by way too quick. Well, there's some interesting new stuff. How mentally checked out were you on Friday when you were at work?
I think I was okay still.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm always a little checked out. The Washington Post reports that pre-pandemic, you might have a long lunch on Friday and then tried to skip out of the office early. Now hardly anybody shows up to the office. Castle System provides security to 2,600 buildings in the U.S. It says about 30% of employees came into the office Fridays this June. That's fewer than 1 out of 3. The rest worked remotely. The largest share showed up on Tuesdays, 50%. Employers are split on how to deal with that exactly. Some are incentivizing them by offering Taco Tuesday, wine bars, and happy hour at 4 p.m. Friday. Sign me up. Others have promised Zoom-free or camera-free Fridays. Some are moving to a 4-day work week as long as productivity remains up, but it's having a rippling effect because businesses that rely on the lunch crowd, parking garages, and coffee shops that can no longer rely on a 5-day work week.
It's kind of hard to check out in this business.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
You gotta stay on it.
Yeah.
Well, 3 shark scientists from UH are being featured by National Geographic for their work. Casey was out earlier today and filed this report in today's Good News Now.
Aloha from Magic Island, and one of those 3 researchers is with us this morning from that docuseries. So you can see, by the way, on Disney Plus and Nat Geo, Chloe Blandino with us this morning. And you also, speaking of your colleagues, I want to give them credit. They weren't with us this morning, but who did you work with in this docuseries?
Paige Wornley is one of my colleagues who's the lead scientist, and Julia Hartle is my other colleague.
Awesome. So I've watched some of the videos and pictures that you guys sent in. First of all, tell us just a little bit about the docuseries and what it kind of focuses on. Maui Shark Mystery, right?
Yes. So the docuseries focuses on Paige's PhD research, and she's interested in what is driving the seasonal influx of tiger sharks to Maui Nui waters. So basically in the episode, what you see us doing in our fieldwork is attracting as many tiger sharks to her as we can so that she can deploy a camera tag package onto the sharks and then allow us a shark's eye view into what they're physically doing in Maui Nui.
And what kind of have you gathered, or do we have to tune in to watch to find out? Or can you tell us a little bit about what you've kind of learned and discovered through this?
Sure. So she's obviously still early on in her project, and she's got many field seasons to go, so you'll have to keep in touch with her to stay on top of her story. I don't think we learned anything like new, but I think it was a constant reminder of just how cool the kind of work that we get to do is.
And the other thing that's really special about this is that it's an all-female team. What's that like for you, kind of inspiring the younger next generation of researchers?
It's highly rewarding. I think it's a ridiculous privilege that we get to be this all-female crew setting the stage and inspiring other young women who wish to pursue STEM and science careers.
I absolutely love it. Chloe Blandino, thank you so much for being with us. Lots to talk about. You can find that online. Again, it's streaming Disney Plus and Nat Geo. We'll have all the details online as well at HawaiiNewsNow.com. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
Very cool, Case.
Yeah.
And a programming reminder I want to tell our viewers about. We have our super debate on Thursday this week, 6:30, KGMB, K5. We're also going to stream that. We're going to have all the major candidates for LG and governor, so you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, the important stuff. And, of course, you can always get the latest online at HawaiiNewsNow.com. Next newscast is with Ash at 4 o'clock.
That's right. We'll see you on First at 4 right here on KHNL. Thanks for watching, everyone.